In a distant galaxy, far beyond what we Earthlings know, lay a realm called the Tendris system. It was home to thousands of worlds and countless species. But in this universe, there was a classification that every being knew: Deathworlders. Deathworlders hailed from worlds so harsh, dangerous, and unforgiving that only the toughest, most resilient creatures could survive. These beings were respected, even feared, by other species. They had reputations for strength, resilience, and adaptability. And in this galaxy, there was one Deathworlder species known to all the humans. The tale of humanity's arrival in the galaxy was one of legend. Not too long ago, they had joined the Intergalactic Federation, bringing with them tales of survival against odds no other species could imagine. They were fierce, but surprisingly, they were also kind-hearted, humorous, and fair. They loved games, art, and storytelling, and they valued teamwork. But something strange happened that no one saw coming. A dark force had been spreading slowly through the galaxy, a mysterious organization called the Shadow Syndicate. Led by a cold-hearted figure known only as the Phantom Lord, the Syndicate was notorious for exploiting weak worlds, spreading fear, and manipulating leaders across star systems. They were particularly interested in Deathworlders, seeing them as powerful tools to exploit for their own gain. This is where our story begins, on the beautiful, peaceful world of Glix, inhabited by the Glixen, a small, blue-skinned species with soft feathers and large, round eyes. The Glixen were known for their kindness, their beautiful floating gardens, and a unique ability to communicate with plants. One Glixen in particular, named Plom, was a humble gardener. Plom spent his days tending to flowers and trees, whispering to the plants in the Glixen language, encouraging them to grow vibrant and strong. His life was peaceful, until the day he stumbled upon a secret that would change everything. One morning, while Plom was wandering near the edge of his garden, he overheard two shady-looking figures conversing in the shadows. They were tall and lanky, with reptilian features and sharp, yellow eyes. They were talking in hushed tones about the Shadow Syndicate's next target, a nearby Deathworlder base called Titan 6. Plom's heart pounded in his chest. He knew of Titan 6. It was a small outpost on a rugged moon where a handful of humans and their allies worked together to maintain peace in the region. The Syndicate's plan was to launch a surprise attack and take control of Titan 6 to expand their territory. Worse, they intended to use advanced mind control devices to force the Deathworlders to do their bidding. KO, all should know about humans. We don't fight for glory, or even just for survival. We fight for the people we love, for the worlds we call home, and for our friends. But when we go to battle, we won't back down. She looked each of them in the eyes, and they could see the fire of a Deathworlder blazing in her gaze. Tomorrow, we're not just fighting for Titan 6. We're fighting to remind the Shadow Syndicate that we may be nice, we may be kind, but when you push us too far, when you threaten those we protect, we will become the storm that ends you. The battle that followed was unlike any the Tendris system had ever seen. The Shadow Syndicate, arrogant in their power, launched their attack, but they were met with a force beyond their comprehension. The Deathworlders fought with a ferocity that no one in the galaxy had ever seen. Reyes led the charge, her voice ringing out with commands, rallying her allies and inspiring them with every word. Though they were no warriors, they used their wits and their unique skills to sabotage the Syndicate's devices, dodge attacks, and aid their allies whenever possible. At one point, Khazar leapt into a crowd of Syndicate soldiers, his fiery breath scattering them like frightened leaves. Morella healed wounded allies faster than anyone thought possible, and Reich used his inventions to disable Syndicate weapons in the middle of the chaos. When the battle reached its peak, Eula, the Zephyrian warrior, lifted herself high into the air, manipulating gravity to hurl massive boulders at the Syndicate soldiers below. Sergeant Tao laughed and cracked jokes even as he charged into the fight, his booming voice carrying across the battlefield like thunder, rallying everyone around him. But it was Reyes who made the final move. She stood face to face with the Phantom Lord, the leader of the Syndicate. They exchanged no words. With a swift, powerful strike, Reyes defeated him, sending a clear message to every remaining Syndicate member: the Deathworlders would not be controlled. As the dust settled and the last of the Syndicate forces retreated, the galaxy knew something had changed. The Deathworlders had shown their true strength, and everyone would remember that day. Plum and his friends became heroes, not just on Glix but across the galaxy. And though the Syndicate was weakened, their shadow still lurked. The Intergalactic Federation was forever changed, knowing that while the Deathworlders were their friends, there would always be a part of them ready to rise up against those who sought to bring harm. Every species still remembers when Deathworlders stopped playing nice. And as word spread, the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what new challenges lay ahead, what new foes might dare to test the strength of the Deathworlders and their allies. The story was just beginning.